What's going on? It has been months since the last time that I filmed one of these videos, and I know the last few videos that I've made have kind of all started this way, where it's like, oh, it's been fucking forever, sorry, I've been busy. And that's true, but it's also just kind of a sort of lack of motivation, among other things, really. I mean, like, this year so far, I've definitely bought less than I have any time in like the last 10 years. And, you know, there's kind of a lot that goes into that, really. But mostly I've just been traveling a lot. Like last month we were in Italy, which was wonderful. And this month we've been to New York, Florida, and on Monday we're leaving for a trip to Utah for 5 days. So it's just been go all the time, and I've been working overtime to kind of just fund all of the fun with overtime money, which has been, you know, great. And on top of that, we've been adding a lot to our like oddity collection, which is kind of getting out of hand and sort of not sustainable at all. But it's fun, and I really like kind of turning this house into a sort of museum. It's been fun. Speaking of which, I'll actually show you this guy. We just got this guy a few weeks ago when we were in Florida. Kind of found him in the wild at a Darwin and Wallace in Altamont Springs. But I fucking love this guy. He's a Magellanic penguin. Very cool. You don't see penguin taxidermy very often. Super fucking cute. Look at him. Anyway, absolutely not why anybody would click on one of these videos. So I say we just kind of get into it. I have my liked playlist on YouTube, one of my liked playlists on YouTube just going next to me. I have no clue if you can hear it. It's just kind of playing on the TV right now. So hopefully it's not super loud or anything. It shouldn't be. It's not very loud in person. I actually added this today. It's the new Black Dahlia Murder song, which I am pleasantly fucking... I'm thrilled with this shit. I was really, like, kind of nervous. You know, obviously the first new material without Trevor doing vocals. But I absolutely, I'm not nervous at all now. I'm super stoked for the new album. Anyway, speaking of new albums, this will absolutely be my favorite album of 2024. This is the first thing that we're going to talk about today. This should be a surprise to nobody. It's not a metal record, so sorry. Oh good, there's going to be a glare, I guess. This is Amigo the Devil with Yours Until the War Is Over. So for the last 5 years or so, I've been quite literally obsessed with Amigo the Devil's music. And in just 5 years, some of the Amigo the Devil material has literally become some of my favorite music ever. The first album, Everything Is Fine, is absolutely among my top 10 favorite records ever. And both other Amigo the Devil records that have come out since, Born Against and now Yours Until the War Is Over, every one of these records possesses their own identity, and they all stand out in their own ways. I think for me, Everything Is Fine kind of holds a special place because it's the first stuff that I heard, and I'll never get over how much I love some of those songs. But that is also true for both other records, including this one that came out like 4 months ago. I mean, without a doubt, there are a couple songs on this one that rival like my favorite Amigo the Devil songs. Including my very favorite track on this thing, I'm Going to Heaven, which is fucking incredible. The first time I heard that song, I played it like 3 times back to back because I was just... I was over the moon. I couldn't believe how much I loved it right off the bat. Other favorites on this one are Cannibal Within, which was the first single, Garden of Leaving, which is very sad, Once Upon a Time at Texaco, One Day at a Time, Stray Dog, Virtue and Vitriol, Hanging by the Roots, It's All Gone, The Mechanic. It's wonderful. This whole fucking record is a solid goddamn 10. But I really could drone on about this forever, so I won't. I love the album cover. It's sort of weird. It almost reminds me of like something Marilyn Manson would do or something, but like pairing the sound of the music with the cover, it absolutely works. It does include an Obi strip, which I just kind of have on the front panel because otherwise it's really hard to move around. There's the back cover right there. The song titles are just kind of all scattered around. This is a gatefold. with more art and the other side of the Obi strip. I love it. The art is so cool. The vinyl itself is just black, though this is the special like collector's edition, which the collector's edition is the only version of this record that came with the gatefold jacket. It also comes with an envelope of different lyric sheets for each song. It's like every one of the lyric sheets are sort of themed around what the song might be about, but it's got the lyrics on it. So I don't know, it's really cool. I would take it all out, but it's kind of hard to get it all out. So I'm not gonna do that. You get the idea. I love this record. I'm absolutely in love with this record. But whatever, I mean, there's literally no way you can go wrong with a song on this thing. I guess like the very last track, Closer, is not really a song as much as it is kind of like spoken word. But again, it's fucking sad. So there's definitely a really good balance of like sad songs and then like the levity. But that's true for every Amigo the Devil record. I'm in love with this thing. Solid 10. I'm gonna stop fucking rambling because I don't want this video to be hella long. Absolutely wonderful. 10 out of 10. Amigo the Devil, yours until the war is over.
Oh, I was born to serve the Savior, to make sure Jephthah's promise is paid for. Now that my job here is done, I'm going to heaven.
Alright, I'm absolutely going to have to cut some of that out because I talked for way too long about one record. We're going to speed it up a bit. And actually, I think that this second record that we're going to talk about here is probably more to the taste of a lot of people watching these videos. This video in general is going to have a lot of like old stuff and then a couple like brand new records from the last year or so. But this is an album from way back in 1994. This is a first press of this one, and this was one of the records that I would say was pretty high up on my like want list of first press vinyl records. This is Mortuary Drape with All the Witches Dance. So this is a 1994 press on Unisound International. So this band released a few demos and the Into the Drape EP leading up to the release of the debut album from 1994. And I've always really loved this record. I love this sort of primitive black metal sound. The production on this is like exactly what I want from a black metal record. I love that the bass is audible. I love the sort of croaky, throaty, sort of reverb vocals. I love that there's actually occasional like guitar solos and memorable riffs and gallopy drums. It's got everything. So I've always loved this record from the very first time I've heard it. So like I said, this is a 1994 press of this one. This was the only pressing until the 2011, I think it was Iron Tyrant that repressed this one for the very first time. And I have one of those as well that I showed in a video years ago. It's the version that doesn't have the logo or the album title on the cover. And I will say, probably one of my favorite album covers ever. And maybe somebody knows like the story behind this album cover. I've got a feeling some super illegal activity went into the creation of this album cover, and I'm here for it. There's the back cover, just a shot of the band playing live. Like I said, Unisound International. I will show you, it's just black vinyl obviously. It doesn't come with a lyric sheet or anything. I will show you the labels in case you're curious. They both look like that. And originally this did have a hype sticker on the front here, and I can see where it used to be. But somebody must have taken it off at some point, which is a shame, because I like hype stickers on these old records. But this motherfucker is fantastic. You've heard it, for sure. I don't need to babble on about it anymore. Banger, banger, banger. That's Mortuary Drape, All the Witches Dance. Moving on, this record, I was pleasantly surprised with how much I liked this thing, because this band was one that I got sort of into when they put out their first release back in like 2015. And I liked it at the time, but it was something that I was barely ever in the mood for. And I heard the next record, and then my attention to this band kind of lapsed for years. And I'm talking about Tetragrammacide. This fucking album title. Typhotantric aphorisms from the Arachnophidian Quran. There you go. And all of the song titles on this thing are like that too. They're all really long and absurd. But anyway, musically, this is a fucking wonderful Warlock. Thank you. It's been a long time since you guys have seen this dude. He's fucking heavy. I fucking love this dog. Mwah. Anyway, this is such a massive step up for me, for this band. And I think that that is kind of the consensus on this one. I think pretty much everyone agrees that this is such a sort of positive evolution for this band, because they managed to maintain that sort of cacophonous sound, but this is a lot more like digestible than like the earliest material was. And it's kind of crazy actually, because the last full-length record from this band is already over 6 years old. And like I said, that was kind of during the period where my attention to this band kind of lapsed. But I have listened to it since this, and it doesn't do for me what this does. I love this thing. Every element on this record, it really does just kind of play a part in this overall sort of hateful sound. And it would honestly be a little bit easier to sort of chalk this up as like a death metal record than previous material. But I don't know. Call it what you want. This shit's awesome. I really love the album cover. I fucking hate the glare from the album cover, but you guys have probably seen this thing a million times. There's the back cover there with the band logo and the album title. Iron Bonehead, and this is actually a really nice pressing of this thing. And the gatefold is really cool as well. I like the photos of the band members, and again, you got the band logo and shit in the center. Really cool, but this also comes with a few things as well. I like the inner sleeve here with more really cool artwork on both sides. The vinyl itself is just black. I think it came on different versions, but I'm not sure. It does come with a big double-sided poster. That's the image from the inside of the gatefold and the album cover itself. And on top of that, it also comes with a big booklet. And the booklet just has a bunch of art and information. I'm not sure if any of these are lyrics. I haven't sat down and actually, tried to follow along with lyrics or anything. These might not even be lyrics. But yeah, very cool. So definitely a high quality pressing of a white hot album. I like this thing a lot, and I'm sure you guys have probably either heard it or if you do listen to it, based on my recommendation, you're going to dig it. That is Tetragrammacide with Typhotantric aphorisms from the Arachnophidian Quran. Alright, here's another one I could probably get through pretty quickly, because I have talked about this album before, years and years ago. But it's also an album that doesn't really need me to do a bunch of, explaining on its behalf. This is another first press of a sort of proto-black metal record, if you want to call it that. This is Root with the Zjeven. As glossy as it could possibly be, this was not well thought out. But if I had, thought further into making this video, it probably wouldn't have happened. So here's what you get. So this band formed back in 1988 and released a couple of demos before the debut full-length album in 1990. This was released on Zeros? Yeah. I had a repress of this one from like 2015 or something, but I actually just recently sold it off after I got this. Because I would prefer, like, it's not like the repress had a bunch of extra special stuff or anything with it, so I didn't really need the duplicate. But I love the album cover. Obviously awesome, no doubt about that. The back cover is actually really cool too. I like that the band photo is inside of this cross. Track listing, all that shit on the back. So when I ordered this one, the guy actually forgot to send me the lyric sheet, but I reached out to him and he did send that over on his own dime, which was very, very cool of him. The vinyl itself just looks like this. Very cool. I adore this record. It's honestly like one of the more fun records probably in my whole collection. Every time I listen to this thing, I kind of just smile my way through the whole thing. If I had to choose any favorite tracks, the song titles are not in English, so this might be a little annoying. Python Pro Satana is probably my favorite, but the song 666 is wonderful as well. Yeah, I don't know. Try both of those. Bangers. I don't know. I love this record. I'm sure most of you have probably heard this. I'm really happy to have an original pressing of it. Nice shit. I love it. Root Zjeven. Alrighty, let's go back. Super early death metal here. This is a Reek of Death Records bootleg, I guess, of a demo from 1987. Again, glossy as fuck. This is Morbid Angel with Thy Kingdom Come. I know Altars of Madness here on YouTube, which is one of the very few people on this platform who do what I do, that I actually watch. Really, really fantastic shit. I will link his channel in the description. But he showed this one, so I'm sure a lot of you watching this have already seen that. But if not, I don't know. I had it out. I played it the other day, and I figured I would show it here. Really, really great shit, and a really nice pressing of this demo, too. So, this band formed back in 1984, and this is one of 2 demos that came out in 1987. And this is honestly one of the more, like, compelling demos, like, early death metal demos for me. I adore this demo. All 3 songs on this one, absolute fucking bangers. The first track is probably my favorite, just the title track. Abominations is a little bit slower, but it's fucking awesome, obviously. Blasphemy of the Holy Ghost. I mean, like, if you like death metal, you've heard this. I don't know why in the fuck I would be explaining how great the Morbid Angel Thy Kingdom Come demo is. Sorry. I really like the work that Reek of Death Records does. Because a lot of it is not stuff that the band is, you know, keeping in press anyway, so kind of on them. This includes, actually, I guess I didn't show you the back. Photo of Aleister Crowley on the back. Like I said, Reek of Death Records and the 3 tracks sort of framing Aleister Crowley's noggin there. The inner sheet has a shot of each one of the band members. This is before Pete Sandoval joined the band, but it does actually have the lyrics, which is very cool, and then, you know, thanks and fiery death embraces, whatever. And at the bottom right here, it says, this record was produced in the memory of Aleister Crowley, who taught us life. Back cover and lyric sheet was made by Satan. Yeah, I don't know. So I think this was 300 copies here. So the record itself is really pretty. White, black-orange splatter. Pretty simple labels. I dig it. I love it. I love the sort of snarly, like, mid-high kind of vocals on this thing. I like that the lyrics are sort of easy to parse out on your own without reading along. I love how audible the bass is on this thing, that's always an appreciated element. It's just really good early death metal. I love this thing. You guys know it. Morbid Angel, Thy Kingdom Come. Alright, moving on. This is a black metal record that came out last year. This is the first and only thing in this video that could probably just qualify as like straightforward black metal. But I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there'd be some disagreement there. This is Goatmoon with What Once Was Shall Be Again. This is the 7th full-length Goatmoon album, and that does include the Silver Serpent EP that came out a couple years ago. which I didn't even know was considered a full-length album. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of picky about like dungeon synth type stuff, and I don't need a bunch of it in my collection for sure. But yeah, this is really good. I had a little bit of trouble sort of letting this one click with me. There are some sort of qualities here that I would consider normally kind of like negative qualities, but I don't think it really subtracts anything from like the finished product here, if that makes sense. Like, for example, the sound here is kind of thin and almost it sounds a little bit like muffled at times, and like Black Goat's vocals definitely sound like they're being strained, like there's some struggle there. The drums on this one sound like soft. I don't know, there's like all of these things on their own kind of, they obviously sound like negative qualities, but overall I mean, it doesn't hurt this record. I think the problem with this record for me was that it just didn't grab me right off the bat like the last few full-length albums, I guess apart from Silver Serpent. It didn't grab me like any of those did. And, you know, I've been waiting years and years for, you know, another Goatmoon record. And I don't know, it wasn't quite as catchy, I guess. But, you know, with more listens, it's definitely grown on me. And now I really like it. I love the use of synths on this thing anytime they come up. Really cool. I like the instances of like layered high vocals and low vocals. And also there's definitely more use of like clean vocals on this thing as well. I don't know. I feel like Black Goat, his vocals have definitely suffered in recent years. I don't really know what happened, but whatever. The album cover is super unlike most Goatmoon album covers, but I don't dislike it. It's kind of hard to tell, but the band logo is in there. It's actually easiest to see like where the end of the logo is, but it's up there. There's the back cover with a shot of the guys who play on the record. I don't really know how this band works now. I don't know if Black Goat like still writes everything, but you know, there's more people credited on the back, so maybe not. But you get all the song titles and stuff up top. It's obviously put out through Werewolf Records. No lyrics or anything, but I did get this like neon yellow vinyl, which is kind of cool. Looks like a shot of the band on this side, and on the other side. Sort of like superimposed with the Werewolf Records logo. It's like two girls who are naked and kissing. Oh, gross. Yeah, man, good stuff. I'm always excited to see what this band does next. Yeah, I don't know. Check it out. What once was shall be again. Let's finish this thing off with an absolute bona fide motherfucking classic. This is Possessed with 7 Churches. This is a first press on Roadrunner Records, which makes it the first European press, because some people get confused. I had a couple people tell me, like, that's not the first press. The first press has, like, 7 Churches in black. But that's the first combat press. That would make that the first United States pressing. As is the case with a lot of records, there's more than one first press. But anyway, this is the first Roadrunner press from 1985. I'm very aware that it's a shame, but I never owned this album on any format until I got this record. And not really for any reason, I guess. I don't know. When you come into the game, you know, in the fucking 2000s, it's, you know, you've got so much catching up to do and so much new stuff coming out all the time, and every now and then there are records that just slip through the cracks, and unfortunately for me, 7 Churches was one of them. Just in like a physical sense, you know, I obviously I'd heard 7 Churches, I don't know, 15 years ago, but I never owned it until now. And it's a shame because this record is fucking awesome. There's so many cool elements of this record. And again, I'm going to point out, audible bass. I fucking love it. But there are really cool, like, unique little quirks on this album. Like, I love on the song Fallen Angel, the bells that kind of match the guitar at the beginning of that song is so fucking cool. And very unique, even to this day. I don't know. I don't think anybody needs me to talk about this, so I won't. Everybody knows this thing. Everybody knows this as arguably the first death metal album. I am, just for the record, I am in the camp that this is the first death metal album. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to talk about the music on this thing. You don't need me to. The album cover is very simple, but it's super iconic as well. This does have an old record store tag on it. Back cover, again, very classic sort of layout with the band logo in the center and then a shot of each individual band member. Roadrunner Records, all the track listing and stuff. This thing is in reasonably good condition too, especially, you know, considering its age. It's got a small seam split at the top and a couple creases, but I don't know, I kind of like that. This is just black vinyl, but if you're curious about the labels, that is what they look like. This does include the original inner sleeve with the sort of collage on one side and all of the lyrics on the other. Yeah, banger. Really, really good record, obviously. Very influential record, obviously. I don't know. I love this thing. You guys love it too. I know you do. So if somehow you've never heard this thing, maybe you're another younger person, another younger guy, girl, or anything in between, don't be like me. Don't be like me. Listen to this as soon as you possibly can. There's a reason that this record is so fucking iconic. Banger. Possessed, Seven Churches. And that's it, man. That is, I don't know, 7 more records. Sorry it took so long to get around to doing this again. I don't know. I always say I'm going to try and, you know, make it a more regular thing. And I'm going to say it again here, but I don't know if that's true. But thank you so much for sticking around. I'm going to hopefully get this edited today, and I'll try and get it up tomorrow. But we'll see what happens. Yeah. Until next time. Later.